Hello, welcome back to Beneath the Maple. I'm Jen and this is my vegetable garden. It is midsummer here in Denver, Colorado, and we've waited all season long for things to come in and grow to their full potential, and we finally have a garden that is flourishing. We had a slow start to our spring. It was cold all through June, and with me starting things from seed and not starting starter plants from nurseries, everything was just a little slow to start, but it's been worth the wait, and I wanted to walk you through, show you what I planted new in the garden this year, show you what I've done year after year, some new places that I've planted different things, and what's doing well and what's not. So come with me as I take you through the tour. You may have already been watching some of our videos about this garden space back here. This is somewhat of an extension of our vegetable / food growing area of our garden. We planted these wine grapes this year, which are starting to take off here. This is new for us. I've never grown grapes in my life, so we are watching these grow. We're going to have to learn how to trim them and prune them at the end of each season, so there'll be videos about that soon. And here's the entry to my main vegetable garden. Right here we have this archway, and I have pole green beans growing up onto this archway. I'm hoping it meets at the top here by the end of the season, so that's kind of a nice flow and separation into the rest of the garden space. You can see here I have a huge tomato plant. This is a cherry tomato plant. It's taken forever for things to come in, but you can see we're starting to get some red tomatoes here, and these are going to just be booming with fruit here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So here are the pole green beans. They're a variety that grows a little longer, but they are really delicious. So I come out here daily really and pick these, and we have so many. I've been giving them away to my neighbors and family, but this is a staple in our house right now in the midst of summer. I have some Swiss chard. This is 2 Swiss chard plants, and then I like to sneak in these onions intermixed with some of my plants out here just to kind of maximize my growing space. This year I expanded my main vegetable enclosed beds over this way and decided to use part of this as obviously the path and entryway to the garden, and then also maximize some space for greens, since these greens, we love eating greens and they take up a lot of space. So right here I have collard greens, then I have some kale over here. This is actually all kale. A little bit of romaine lettuce is still mixed in here. And then I had to pull out all of the old bolted lettuce because it's just been so hot. And you could see, if I get down close here, I've got new little lettuce greens starting to come up. I like to plant a second crop of those to hopefully last us into the fall. Sometimes it's too hot to really get them to do much, but fingers crossed we'll have some success this year. Here is my celery. I went overboard on the celery this year. I've never planted it before. I think I have another week or 2 before I really want to start harvesting some of this. You can see down here the stalks that are coming in, and I'll just cut this off at the base and have fresh celery here soon. Then mainly over in this section I have my peppers. I have 2 or 3 green pepper plants. We've got some green peppers. This one's actually probably ready to come off. They don't get huge, so I usually pick them at this stage. So that's my green pepper. In anticipation of all my tomatoes coming in, I have a serrano pepper plant because I plan to make lots of fresh salsa here shortly. And then 2 jalapenos. So we got lots of jalapenos and serrano peppers coming in. This section is a little crowded. I planted 3 okra plants. You can see them here, 1, 2, and 3. But you can see I put in some beets and some onions, so I may have overcrowded this a little bit, but live and learn. This is the part of gardening that we just learned from, right? Here's an okra that's about ready to harvest. Sterling's the one that really likes those. Here's another tomato plant. This is tomato plant number 2 of 4 in my yard this year. I mistakenly thought that this was going to be an eggplant. I grew this from seed and did not label it properly, so we have yet another tomato plant. My yellow squash here, this is taking an abnormally long time to come in this year. Normally these just like boom out here in the yard. Not really sure what's going on with this year. I'm not getting a lot of vegetables off of it, but hopefully we'll get a few here. I mean, obviously this flower is coming in strong. This here in the corner is yet another green bean variety. This is just a bush bean plant that just reseeded itself from last year. I have a lot of green beans to also pick off of here. Once these start getting too big, I don't even really like the taste of them anymore. So it's really important to get out here almost daily and pick these off, because they just taste better when they're a little bit smaller sized. I think this is a good size. A couple more Swiss chard plants. We're really into the Swiss chard this year, eating a lot of it. With a few herbs right here, Italian parsley, my dill, which really has kind of passed its point of being very good. I'll probably pull that out shortly. I've got some cucumber here, which this one's getting pretty close to being able to pick. And all through here is my carrots. We have a lot of carrots. A lot of these can probably start to be pulled. I'd like to pull them like as we eat them. Here's one right here. Because they tend to wilt pretty quickly after you pull them out of the ground, so I like to wait till we have a need for a carrot and then come out here and get one. And then as you walk out into the main part of the yard, I created another separate area where I let two other tomato plants kind of overtake. They get a lot of good full sun. These are bigger variety tomatoes. One's a beefsteak. I can't remember what the other one was. But these bigger ones just take longer to reach their mature size. But you can see we got another one ripening up in here. So this is a good spot for my tomatoes every year. Lots of green ones. This section outside of my enclosed raised beds, I have a little area where I'm trying to grow strawberries here. The squirrels have been terrible about getting them before me. So I attempted to put this bird netting here and kind of save some of them. I'm not 100% it's working or not. And then over here, I have some cantaloupe. You can see I'm starting to get cantaloupes that are a decent size. So I actually think we're going to have a good harvest here before it gets cold in the end of our growing season. But this is kind of, I'm just letting sprawl out into this open area of the garden. We got a few more here. I'm going to be this weekend covering this with some sort of bird netting. This is my watermelon, and you can see something already tried to get its little teeth in there. So I'm going to cover these up. These are a smaller variety of the seedless watermelon, so they're not supposed to get huge because here in Denver, Colorado, we do not have the growing season to let these get to a full-size watermelon. And then lastly, this is horseradish. Never grown horseradish before. It seems to be doing pretty good back here. This is a horseradish plant as well. The root smells so delicious. I'm actually very excited to dig some of this up and learn how to cook with it this fall. You guys, thanks so much for watching our tour today of our vegetable garden at Beneath the Maple. If you enjoyed this video and want to watch more, please hit that subscribe button in the bottom and help support our channel. Have a good week.